work with scientists, business partners, and farmers to ensure that Förster Technik continues to improve, continues to provide the most modern technologies combined with the latest scientific research in its calf feeding systems. Sponsored by Grober Animal Nutrition, he will now explain the value of automated calf feeding and group housing for the health of your cows, health of your calves, and your bottom line. Please welcome Mr. Marcus Straub.
I'd like also to welcome you for my presentation. I'd like to focus the next 45 minutes on automatic calf feeding. I would like to give you there an overview of what is possible from the technology, but also I would like to give you information about the importance of an intensified rearing scheme with automatic calf feeds. There are also very interesting results from the science there influencing the future way of rearing calves. Before I start to introduce the calf feeding systems themselves, I would like to give you a brief overview for the company Förster Technik, so where we are and who we are. So Förster Technik is a company that stands for innovation in young stock feeding, so far specialized on young stock feeding. We can look back on 40 years of history, from research work and innovation so far, and we have a strong aim to give latest technology and research work to give them available for the farmer in practical products with high practical value. So we have
everything's still working well for you?
Yeah, everything's great, thank you.
I'm trying to tweak their
in Germany and our innovation forces
EQ a wee bit. That's why I want to keep checking to make sure I haven't.
Appreciate that. It seems to be good. That's all right.
Yep, lost the signal. Yeah. Yep. I love low gains. That means it's clean.
Yeah, correct. Germany, here to Switzerland and Austria. So if you would like to visit Germany, we are quite near to the airport in Zurich or in Stuttgart, for example. The company themselves is structured. We have about 25% of the people are working in the part of research and development, and 60% of the people are working in production. What also shows our deep level of production. So when we see an automatic feeder from Förster Technik, it's about 80% of the pieces and parts are produced and developed in our own company, what is important for the quality of our product. Also, we have a calf barn for our own practical experience, and we can test the software firsthand, and then all our employees have really firsthand also on calves. Let's come a bit more to the product. What Förster Technik is offering. Förster Technik is offering, on the one hand side, automatic calf feeding systems for group housing. I will introduce a little bit deeper later on. We have also for semi-automatization milk choice for feeding the single hatch rearing systems, and a new development what is called the calf rail, which is a moving team for full automatic feeding of single hatch calves. And not the last, it's such called drip feeding systems preparing milk so that young animals like sheep and goat lambs can drink and live and be supported by these feeding systems. We sell our product in North America. We are the Delaware GA OEM, and we have a technical partnership with the company Grober Nutrition, which is managed by Mr. Janssen. So in this technical partnership you can address all questions for rearing management support from our partners, but also for farmers to achieve optimal results with our feeding technology. After this brief introduction of Förster Technik, we can ask the question there how a calf feeder basically works. So if we see a calf feeder installation, it consists out of mainly these three components. We have the calf feeder himself, with management software and process controller. We have the filling station with the RFID for identification of the animal, and the cards are wearing electronic tag. And this gives the possibility for one group housing and still feed the animals individual and controlled. How such a car feeder basically works. We have different models available, so there is a such called powder water only car feeder available. We have there the boiler vessel for heating the milk. We have a mixer with a temperature sensor in it, controlling any portion, because temperature is a very important part of quality car feeding. We have a level sensor that we know exactly about the amount we have goes to the cars. And with such a unit you can feed a mix of milk powder. These units are also available as such called combi units. Then you have, instead of such a boiler compartment, you have a heat exchanger, and with such a combi unit you can feed fresh milk or milk powder milk or any combination of it. So you are very flexible how to do and how to feed your cars. From the performance of such a car feeder, we can feed up to, we can connect up to 4 feeding stations to one car feeder unit. The peak load would be about 120 rearing cars what such a car feeder can manage. Yeah, now we can ask us the question why a car feeder is in principle beneficial. Why it started to become a state-of-the-art technology in the North American market. And there are different things. One part is light from market. It's feed application light from market. So if we see car feeding, we have to consider it's a young animal. We have to consider there is reduced body muscle volume. So that means we have to consider the age of the animal. And with automatic car feeding, you can feed several times a day, more often a day, applicate age-dependent portions. Always a fitting portion to the car, what is important. Then we have always the right temperature, the right mix, the right concentration available. What is important for a safe process flow. Also the application via the teeth. When a car sucks on the teeth, you get the linear production, you get the kind of a free digestion, you get the good reflex repair. These are all things helping the car for a good digestion in general. When you have a perfect mix in the mixer, because it's always prepared in small portion, always freshly intensive mix. What is also important if you speak about digestion and food conversion in general. Automatic car feeder with animal identification is also an advantage that you have a smooth reading process. You have finger schedules available and you can read your car step by step to achieve their good result, to transfer the car stress-free and without, let's say, a risk of losing weight from a milk intake to the rumination process, what is also a helpful part. So, to conclude, in total, it's a consideration of all the physiological aspects and it guarantees a reliable process flow on the farm. What is, if you speak about young animal nutrition, an important part of success. The second part, which is one of the main drivers to think about automatic car feeders, is labor safety. It's tremendous labor safer in general because the car feeder is you applicate the milk full automatically to your cars, so it takes a lot of labor away from you. If you rear 100 cars, you can calculate that you save about 400 hours a year, what is a very high number. You will not have a lot of equipment on the farm, you can save that strong labor. But I have to say, please consider part of the labor you saved, invest it in your cars. Check your cars, control your cars, because finally still the farmer needs to manage it. Then one part what is also simple but it's easier firm. Don't forget the human. So if the work is comfortable, what is the case if you use automatic car feeding? You do the job. It's always a safe process for the work is done. So it's a very great help for an easier work and it helps finally then also out of that you have a nice process and that you later on have correct fed calves. Not the last thing is management and traceability. With an auto calf feeder, you have, for example, overfeed lists available for the feed intake of your animal. You have information like the drinking speed, so it helps you. You have group housing, but still you manage your animals individually. And the calf feeder will give you a strong package available with a lot of management tools to support this. Also, you have the feeding schedules available. You can program in the way you need to run or you would like to run your feeding strategy. And you have also the information there where you need it. You have the information in front of your calves. So when you see something, you have, for example, an app available that you have the control files on your smartphone. So you can immediately act on it. You can check the figures. You can find a solution for it. Or you have PC software additional in your back office to make traceability studies and all these things to see the long-term with your animals to improve your breeding in general. So this is a quite beneficial tool and brings a lot of management, additional information and traceability. Here, why we should now really speak about the importance of intensified calf rearing. We could also say calf rearing is just a waste of money. Yeah, let's say it's not as good. Or why an intensive rearing scheme is important. Really not just things to compensate for the day, it's enough. And is there an influence of my profitability? Why should I take the focus on my calves? And there I will give you a bit of overview from the international science and knowledge, what is quite interesting. Over the last couple of years there was going on a tremendous change in feeding in the calf rearing strategy. So one part is metabolic programming. It's quite scientific, but it's a growing awareness of the animal's active response and nutrition situation. Means more or less it's important what you feed the first stage of life to your young animal. It will have an influence on the rate of behavior of the animal. Then it's reduced to a reduced number of days. So it's roughly about 40, 56 days of life. We have this effect of this metabolic programming. It's a strong influence on the organ functions, so on the regulation process, on digestion, on food utilization. And all this is a long-term effect we need to consider. So we need to treat our very young animals, the very first stage of age, very, very good, because there is a long-term effect. And the result, say it quite simple, we have two ways to grow, two ways to live. It's our choice what we offer to a young calf. The next part, what is also interesting, we should consider from the research side, is there are different periods of growth to consider. The first, again, about 40 days of life, we speak about cell proliferation, so the number of cells is growing. If I feed the calf during that time, very intensive, I create a bigger number of cells. So I have quality growth. If I feed the calf restricted during that time, the number of cells is lower. What happens then after this period? After this period, the way of growth is changing. It's changing in that way that we have an enlargement of the existing cells. That means it's still growing, but it's not anymore the number of cells growing. So, and the result of it, if I run intensive or restricted, is the following. And this we need to consider. I have one or two calves, same heavy, but in different condition, different quality. And if we speak about heavy breeding and all these things, there we speak about quality and storing and whatever. We should do this also with the calf. It's not just to reach a final weight, it's also the way in which quality I end up with my calf. For the later development. So these are important things we should have to take mind for our decisions. This research, for example, is showing quite nice the organ development if you have intensive fed calf or restricted calf. So it's nice to see that the restricted calf, the organ development was tremendously lower. There's like few more energy to the calf. If you think about the organs, just to give a sample, think on it, to produce 30 liters of milk, your cow has to pump 15,000 liters of milk through the udder. This is a sports, these are really sportsmen, so we need to do all what we can to have the good development of the organs and the fundament. It's an important part. Also further studies showing that the influence, if you feed your cows more intensive, that there is a really positive influence on the first lactation year. And these are research over years now, and it's proven knowledge that there is a real influence what you do in the first days of life of your animal on your later cow performance. And Mike Number, he published even, it was not that long ago, that he could see even an influence on his dairy herd up to the third lactation. So that's quite long. And what is also a part is that he figured out for himself that the influence of an intensive feeding is 4 to 8 times higher as the influence of the genetics. Because from the genetic side, which the feeder in average would have 15 to 20,000 liters of milk, which is only to the years. But when we make it useful, the calf breeding is an important part to make it really available. So here in the program, if you have a Porsche with 500 horsepower or a Porsche with only 50, it's up to us. So these are things they should really give us to think what we're doing with our calves. So, conclusion, this was the standard breeding behavior or breeding strategy if you had led 5 years ago. It was there, just get the calf over the winter period, go for the compensatory growth, have, let's say, the weight they should like to have, but what happens in the very first days of life, it was not really okay. After all this knowledge we have now, we should review this and we should focus much more on intensive growth, because the intensive growth in the beginning gives the high quality energy to achieve later on a healthy calf, but also a healthy and strong milking cow. And that's an important part of the story are the very first days of life of an animal. How we make it work in practice. So, Mike Number there told, okay, after 56 days, the birth weight of the calf should be doubled. This in the first step quite easy. But if you start to calculate, you will figure out, I need 850 grams of daily gain. Well, and this was the first day of life. What this means for us? For us it means I cannot lose 1 day for growth. We cannot afford it. Otherwise you will not reach this day. You really need to grow your calves as intensive as is the first chance. I'm saying that. So this is one of the key messages from the intensive growth. And if we speak about calf rearing, we should not just speak about calf rearing. We should really think about to speak about the quality calf rearing. It's not just to get the calf grown. We need about quality in the process. That's an important part of the story. And that was the reason for Förster Technik to introduce this brand, FortiFit Technology. And FortiFit Technology stands for technical solutions for nutrition, management, housing, health, everything supporting this intensive calf rearing, because you need everything. If we as a technology producer just have a perfect machine, but they have not the right nutrition food stuff for it, it's not good. So we need to be a total package to give the farmer available to achieve the goal of an intensive calf growth. One part, for example, of this FortiFit is the FortiFit Calf Tour, which is a peer-to-peer internet platform, with calf racing tips, information, exchange of farmers where they can discuss topics about intensive calf rearing. These are also part of the FortiFit concept. After all this information, perhaps you think, yeah, let's go home, it's a good idea, let's feed my calves intensive. I will do it as of tomorrow. Okay, you go home, you tell it, perhaps your wife, please, we should achieve 850 grams of daily gain. Then you start to figure, oh, how often should I feed? I feed 4 or 5 times a day. Well, let's do it, try. Let's go for 5 times a day. For sure, after 5 weeks, you will say, okay, it was too hard for me. So, what I like to say, it's not that easy to establish a daily routine, an intensive calf rearing scheme. And there, first technique started also with the 40-feet concept to offer the farmer solutions supporting these intensive calf rearing schemes. And one of the solutions is the 40-feet feeding plan, automatic calibration, calf weight, winter feeding machine. I will explain in the next step more detail what is behind. But it's a total set of tools supporting that you can really run on farm a safe process flow. Like the 40-feet feeding schedule, it's a feeding schedule aiming on to get as much energy in the calf as possible the first days of life. When we do it in that way, the calf is not anymore registered in the daily quantity. The calf will drink more or less during the day as much as it would like. It's only reduced per visit. And with this, we take into consideration the physiological aspects so that we have no over-treatment in these things, but also additional, in combination with the calf feeder, any visit is computerized, controlled with the RFID. I have traceability, I know about the feed intakes, I know about drinking speed, all these figures to still manage and to control the calf, but have the possibility to achieve really high milk intakes to maximize the growth. And then I guide the calf back to a restricted feeding scheme to wean the calf, because the aim is finally here. The first step is just the milk feeding, but the final aim is to transfer the calf to become a ruminant. So I have a 40-feet period, and after the 40-feet period, I have a second period where I really have a weaning strategy where the calf is again has a daily quantity available and will be weaned down. Automatic calibration, that's also something everyone knows. If I have a calf feeder, yeah, I should do it, but it's a pain for farmers to do it. So this is one part of automatic calibration. We offer as automatic process. The feeder will have a scan and is doing the calibration full automatically themselves. Because on any gram you have not fed to your calf, it's not gain. So really it's also for a safe process flow, it's important. Also this part is the winter feeding machine. The winter feeding machine means that I have the possibility when a certain temperature is there that I give an offset on the drinking plan or the concentration plan, because you have to consider the maintenance demand of your young calf is higher, so you need to feed more to your calf. It's about 10, 15, even 20% additional you should applicate to your calf to achieve the growth we would like to have in this first stage. The calf rein unit is also a very interesting part in this 40-feet story, and because quite often calves are started out in single hatches. And we heard about we cannot use one day for feeding calves intensive. That means with a calf rein you can feed a calf more or less as after the colostrum period 4, 5, 6 times a day, where it is moving teat which runs from calf to calf. And you can feed up to 8 times a day theoretically. And so it gives you there also basis to get enough milk, enough energy into the young calves, nice and distributed, and also controlled via the automatic calf feeder. So pilots are starting soon in North America with this product, and it's a very promising part to do this. So you have seen with the 40-feet concept, we give the farmer really a wide range of products available and software available really to run your calves intensive on your farm. And now it's a question here, what are results if you're using such an automatic such a 40-feet feeding plan, and we had a master thesis ongoing for this on a farm in the eastern part of Germany with 54 Holstein Friesian calves with quite interesting results. And you have to see this was a group of calves, and half of the calves are registered to a 40-feet plan, half of the calves are registered to a restricted plan to 6 liters daily quantity. And the result was the daily gain of the 40-feet calves. When you see this here, really this calf they converted the higher milk intake to gain. So the average intake of the milk was about 11 liters. And with 140 grams of milk powder, but you see also they gain about 1 kilo in comparison to the restricted calves. So it was an interesting part, and also when you see the total body weight, you see here the total body weight, they are roughly 10 to 15 kilograms heavier after the 40-feet period, and also when they were weaned off, still these more intensified fat calves were heavier. What is also very interesting, because it's always a question, if I start that intensive feeding milk in the first step, I have problems to get the calves on concentrate. It's showing that if you start that intensive with the calves in the first 40 days about, that they, after you start to wean them, that they really easily pick up with the concentrate and also starting even more to overcompensate. Because the metabolism, digestive is trained for high energy. They need it for energy, they like it. So additional, you create a good growth rate there, and there was not to see that they stand behind concentrate intake. And now here, these calves are 18 months age, are of 18 months of age, and still they are about 30 to 40 kilograms heavier as the others. And we will see how it makes out, and we will look forward next year. We know how they're doing in the first plantation. It will be interesting. So this to the result, how the 40-feet can be used on farm, and what is possible to achieve with it. In the last part of my presentation, I would like to come back more for general information about group housing. And housing recommendations in general. So, before we start there, we have a lot of reference farms in North America, mainly on research stations. What is important also for us, because it's they use the calf feeders, there is also input and advising from the market, so how to use the calf feeder the best way, and so on. So that's an important part for us to have all this research ongoing. If you think to convert an existing barn with single hutches to group housing, it's possible, no problem for that, but you should consider in general about that you have enough space. So you should calculate about 30 square feet per calf. You should think about air volume. Climate is very important. You should have 67 cubic meters of air available. Please think of fresh water, because the calf feeder is not a water feeder. You need to have fresh water. 10% of the body weight the calf needs to have fresh water. That's also important. And if you consider all this, and then also climate and ventilation in general, no problem. So this is a nice sample where they converted these existing barns from single hutch barns to group housing barns, and they could even run higher numbers here in one barn and improve the labor by more or less half, by 50%. When you start calves on a calf feeder, the grouping process is also an important part. There are different strategies. If you have enough calves available, you can run going in, going out strategy. That means from the management, it's quite easy. You fill up a group of calves in a week of a time, let's say 20, 25, or even 30 calves if necessary. they stay together, you weed these cars, they live together, you make the disinfection, cleaning, everything. So it's a real group management. If you have not such a high car flow to fill such a group in such a short time, then we recommend to separate the cars by age to avoid stress and group penetration. So then it's better to have a group cars of age, let's say 1 week to 4 weeks, and the second group 5 to be weaned. So that works pretty much well. They give you also quite good flexibility. In this sample here, this bar, to see this guy is running the bar as a going in, going out concept, because I think he fills up one half of the car filling more or less in 1 week's time. Then, in general, also don't forget the housing of the car feeder. A little bit easy of work. It's also the environment you need to work with. If you have a housing where you place the car feeder in, you have everything around car management there in place. It's the car feeder itself is protected, so you will not damage the car feeder by your tractor or by whatever. For example, you have good frost protection. And this is a nice sample. It's a barn with 4 car feeders, 200 cars, so good ventilation. And they have a central alley, and the central alley is more or less a technical room where all the 4 car feeders are placed. The milk, fresh milk tanks are placed, everything you need. Make it comfortable, because this is work you have to do day by day. So make that you have easy working, because that's the best guarantee that you do it. If it's not easy working, you will not do it. So housing for the car feeder. Then in general, before you start up calf, the very, very first aim we all have is to get a healthy calf started on the car feeder. If the calf is half ill and you start new environment, group housing, everything, you have problems. So really have a strong focus to get a healthy calf on the car feeder. And there, colostrum. It's very important. Colostrum feeding is a very important topic. Also for us, because it's one fundament to have a really strong healthy calf, starting on calf food. Please do not forget this. When you bring calves on the calf feeder, that's the question. So the standard procedure for North America is to accumulate calves, let's say, over a period of 3 to 7 days. Make sure that they have a good suckling reflex, make sure they have the colostrum. If everything is nice and in order, try to get always 2-3 calves adjusted to a calf feeder. Also with the calves, please try to establish a working routine. For example, any Tuesday or any second week, I shift 3-4 calves to the calf feeder. I train them. I make it cleaner, and so on. Try to get the routine to do all the maintenance work you do with your calves, because that's helpful for the processes you have to do over the years, always the same, because then you will be more successful, you have a better quality here. So that's a standard procedure more or less to start calves on the calf feeder. If you have a very high volume of calves, you can also start them earlier, but if the calves are younger as 3 days, you should have a kind of baby group. Don't make that a group too big. So there I would then start really in a baby group with next 10 calves or so on, and in the second step, make 20 calves. Avoid stress for the calves. That's also in principle. In general, when you manage your calves, please try to do everything that the calves will not have stress. So not, let's say, like dehorning and whatever after the single hutch feeding just before you start them with the calf feeding. You run into trouble because it's stress for the calves, and most health problems are factor problems. So, think of protocols. Good, and then I come to the final of my presentation.
Cars are in fire roads. These cars will be found if they're not moved. So a grading system is AEW 931. This car has to be moved. It's a gray Mazda. It's in a fire road. We have a gray Volkswagen. We hit Z359. It is also in the player room. With players does not move.
Okay, to complete our first technique, we offer complete systems from car feeders to management software. With the 40 concept for intensive car feeding schemes, and with this concept, it's possible to have a really nice process flow to run to establish an intensive car feeding concept on your farm on a day-by-day working basis. So that's a big aim of us. It's a big time saver if you use automatic car feeders. It's animal friendly, it's animal conforming, and it helps you also to have good traceability and to make better decisions. Because after all of what we heard now, perhaps if you like to do breeding decisions in future, which heifer I should go for or not, have a look for your calves. How was the heifer developing as a calf? Was he a good developer? Has he a lot of health cases? Because it's an important part of the total story. So, then I would finish so far. Thank you for your attention, and think on it. Our cow, it's our calf, it's our future cow, it's our future income, and we should treat them as good as possible to be successful in business. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm free or would be pleased to get your questions and to run the discussion. Thank you.
Do any of you have questions that you'd like to ask of Marcus? Let me give you the mic. We'll do it this way.
When you were conducting trials with cows and calf feeders, did you ever run into any sucking problems with calves and groups? Was that ever an issue? Sucking each other?
Sucking problems?
Yeah.
Okay. Sucking problems can be an issue, but mostly it's related by the feed management. You need to offer the calf enough energy and enough volume, and this needs to be age dependent. So, for example, if you have a feeding schedule and you offer a calf only half a liter per visit, the calf gets crazy, will go out and starts to suckle on each other. So it's important that the energy you offer and the volume you offer will fit into the age, and then sucking with full sufficiency, it's not a real problem.
Any other questions?
Marcus, the 40-fit graph you were showing for the milk intake, okay, was level for the first 40 days, and then there was quite a drop before you started on the gradual weaning. How much is that drop, and why that drop? Why not just gradual right from the...
Let's say with the 40-fit plan, our experience is after this let's say the weaning started in about 35 to 40 days then on the feeding schedule. The average intake of the animals is then about 12-11 liters. So we try to pick them up there about with 10 liters, and then we go down. But it's in this very first trial we did there in the eastern part of Germany, we try to have two mini periods in it. So the first one is starting with 40, 50 meters, bring them down to 10, then stay a couple of days and then we move. But with that finally we figured out that it's not necessary to do, it's better, let's say, to start about 10 meters or so, because the majority of the cars anyhow is at this level if you run 40 feet, and we slightly down. So with that we have now quite good experience.
More questions? Anyone? All right. Marcus, well, thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause to him. And we'll give you the official Canadian Dairy Expo 2014 countdown.